Family First Life. This is Jack Yu with FFL Financial, and I'm thankful to be on the call today. Our topic for today is Living Promise, the whole life product with Mutual of Omaha. And I think, we have a great product lineup at FFL that consists of numerous carriers. They're all A-rated, and they've all been around for 100 years. Mutual of Omaha, of course, is a great choice because, it's a household name. I think anybody in the baby boomer community that's 50 and up is familiar with the name. Of course, they had the Wild Kingdom, the famous television show way back when. And, the number of baby boomers turning 65 every day in the United States is well over 10,000. So name recognition is one of their bigger assets. And they do a whole life product called Living Promise. And it's a whole life, so it lasts forever. And it goes from the age range of 45 to 85. And it's very competitively priced. You can also access it, pricing, by downloading the Mutual of Omaha sales app, a quotation tool for sales professionals on your app store. And you can also now find it as one of the carriers on ffl-go.com. That's a step-by-step site that you can plug into anywhere, and it has all the calculating tools, some great training, and again, that's ffl-go.com. So today, I'm joined by my partner and friend, Ms. Sherry Tallui, and I've admired her since we got to know each other about 10 years ago when I first got involved in the industry, and she has been a top producer year in and year out consecutively for as long as I've known her, and I've modeled a lot of what I do in my business based on the stuff I've picked up from her along the way. So, Sherry, you there with me?
Hi, yes, I am. Thanks, I pay Jack for all these compliments. Thank you, Jack. I pay you some more when I see you. Yes, I've been with the company for over 8-9 years, and it's a privilege to work with such a caring group, and so many trainings, so many support. Usually I don't stay in company more than 2 years, and just the management and the way they handle the agents stopped me at home. This is home for me now, and I'm planning to retire from this company. And I love whole life policy with Mutual Omaha for many reasons. If you have any questions, Jack, go ahead. Otherwise, when I start talking,
absolutely,
I have to stop.
I think that's one of your strengths is presenting these whole life products in scenarios, whether it be a final expense lead or a life insurance lead or a mortgage lead, because, of course, we have a couple products. We have term life and whole life, and sometimes the term life isn't a fit for them just based on their health, but you're always able to find added value with the whole life. Can you walk me through how whole life is best used in a final expense appointment?
Sure. When I sit with people, I have some conversation that I call it discovery for me. When I'm having conversation, my conversation builds up around a strategy by asking very simple questions. Then when I gather that information in my mind, then I'm going to present what is the best plan for this family is, without bringing up if they have in the conversation, hopefully you are healthy, you look healthy, and you take any medication. And if I see their circumstances is not a fit for term, or their older age I don't want to give people any term insurance that in 10 years, 15 years, when they really need some protections, then they would have zero protections. I make that judgment call just thinking these are my parents, these are my sisters, these are my brothers, and I'm there to help them. And usually if they have any health issues or they're older, I just talk about whole life policy. I don't talk about term unless they bring it up and they say something like, no, we want big numbers. And I always say, big numbers doable. I'm going to help you, but I'm going to help you step by step to get there. Because older people, if we ask for big amount, I don't say you're not healthy. They're not going to give you. I just say, if you let me help you, I'm going to help you little by little. Let's first see if I can qualify you for this permanent policy that hopefully you live to be 90, 95, 98, because that's common these days, that you never lose your protections, because it breaks my heart that I give you something that on the way just day before you pass away, your policy goes away. Do you think that makes sense? Permanent versus something temporary. Do you like permanent? And usually 99% of time they say, oh, yeah, permanent sounds good. Then I know I have them on whole life. And the reason I like Mutual Omaha pricing for whole life is very good pricing, less expensive. That's why it does allow them to have more coverage. That's number one. And number two, I've seen in many cases that when other companies, they grade policy based on certain medication, Mutual Omaha is easier in that area. And by asking questions, just having conversation with people, when I start talking about whole life, I don't say whole life, none of those things, unless someone asks me, is this whole life? Then I know the person has some information. I keep saying, I'm going to give you permanent coverage. Have you taken care of your funeral expenses for untimely death? And if they say, yes, I have life insurance, that's the time I say, okay, can you go bring your policy? Let me look at it. If it is term insurance, I show them, okay, this is good, very good, it's going to cover you. But if you live beyond this age, it's not going to suit you. And if they have some whole life policy, I just have one formula. It doesn't matter what number it is, I say it's not enough. I don't say too much things. Like if I see someone has 10,000, great, this is a good policy. It's not enough. Let me help you because there is inflation. You're not dying today, And but it's very important to ask them, do you know what's the cost of funeral in this area? And if they say, yes, about $10,000-$15,000, whatever number they say, I say, that's about right. That's about right. That's about right. Why I'm saying that's about right? Because they are talking about how much they can afford in perfect scenario. Even if they had $100,000, they are not going to spend $50,000 in Los Angeles in that fancy cathedral or anything like that. And then the next question after that would be, who would be the person when you pass away would take care of this tragedy? I don't say who's your beneficiary. And if they say my husband or my daughter, I write down their name immediately. So the application is not done, but I'm writing the information on the application. And I just ask, when was she born? They give you that. Whatever you ask them, because you haven't asked for money. And then I do say, okay, do you have any funeral homes in mind? They say, yeah. If they say, I write it down. If they don't, I don't jump to sell, to say, oh, this works everywhere. You can go anywhere it works. I don't do that. I'm just listening. I'm putting together what am I going to give them that it doesn't bring up any objections. So your daughter, is the person who's going to take care of all this process that is tragic. Later, I'm going to get you her phone number, and I'm going to call her, and I'm going to give her the information that in case you pass away, she would have my number and the company's number. Does it sound fair to you? And they always say yes, because I haven't asked for money. And based on the information they're giving me, because Mutual Omaha goes up to $50,000, and that is good, because some companies is just up to $40,000 their whole life. And I asked all the medical questions on first time about conversational. Later, I read it one by one, because I want to make sure to get approval. I don't have that many decline with people, because if you read that applications and questions, believe me, you are on there right there. You would know, instead of, not knowing, and at the end, the blow-up comes up to say, oh, I forgot to tell you this. Because one thing I always repeat, tell me more. Tell me more. If they say I'm diabetes, okay, tell me more. Yeah, I was 2 years ago, I was diagnosed. Okay, tell me more. More. Oh, wow. Tell me more. They're going to tell you more. Because whatever you ask them, they're going to tell you if you ask right questions. And what I do that it works for me, because it's been years, maybe 10 years, I have not heard someone to tell me, this is good, we like it, we're going to get back to you. I haven't heard that. That objections, I don't have it in my presentation, because I'm covering that all along to get to the money. And how that I say, let's just picture it. God forbid you go to bed and something happens, you don't wake up or you don't come back home. You are not going to be here. I'm going to be here. What do you want me to do? How do you want me to take care of this? I cannot bring you back, but I can bring some of the money you were providing for your wife or your daughter. I'm the one who's going to bring that money. I earned their trust by right statements. Then I look at their age based on the information they gave me, if it's graded, because graded with the Mutual Omaha, it's a little bit trickier, because first of all, it goes up to 80. Then I know it's in my mind. Graded is between 45, 80. And I think, if I'm not wrong, the graded policy doesn't have smokers. It has to be graded non-smoker. If I'm wrong, right. I can be wrong, because, that's what I think. And if it's graded, I just go to the to graded page. And then I tell them, oh, you are diabetes and you have this and that, and I know all the questions on graded. I'm going to try my best to get you protections that when you pass away, to make it easier for your daughter or your wife. And but there's going to be a 2 years clause there. Do you know what 2 years clause is? And usually they say no. I say, it is very simple. Don't die first 2 years. Very simple. Can you promise me not to die first 2 years? They said yes. I'm not planning to die. Great. I covered it. I covered it 2 years, because you passed away. They might give you a little bit, but if you promise me you don't die, you're going to be okay. After 2 years, the full coverage is going to be honored. And if you don't make it in first 2 years, although you are promising me, you get your premium back. I don't get too detailed in the beginning. Oh, you get 30% back, you get 20%. If you keep it simple, like a story, I'm here to tell you a story. The day you pass away, what's going to happen. Your daughter is going to call me. I'm going to put the claim. They're going to transfer money anywhere they want. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. And then I just show them 50,000, 30,000, and the number they told me they know what the cost of funeral is in that area. If they say, yeah, in this area is 15,000, I put 15,000. And when I show them these three different numbers, I announce the coverage loudly. This is 50,000, this is 30,000, this is 15,000. And I put the price. I don't repeat the price. I just show them with my pen. There is no need to talk about price, because when you talk about it, then they don't look at it. I want they look at it. I want they absorb it. And sometimes I show them, they say, so how much is for that? Then I put my pen. I said, it's here. These are numbers. I still don't repeat the price out loud, because when you make it out loud, number becomes bigger. And when I say based on experience I have, because I met with Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, they're just in your situation, and the person who's going to take care of this tragedy is their son, yours is your daughter. And they told me it's safe to go with the middle number. And based on experience I have with my clients over so many years, they usually stay in the middle to make sure that when you pass away, your family don't have to participate and bring more money. But it's up to you, because after I get your approval, I cannot promise you I'm going to get the approval. But if I do, I can always increase it. So which one works for you? And they put their number on something. Usually it's in the middle. Sometimes it goes to lower. I hardly have seen it goes to 50,000. But that, if you want, you can, after you close that, you can still say, you know, the reason some people, they choose biggest number, because especially if they're husband and wife, I say, usually husband and wife, they don't die at the same moment. And I know they wish to, because I wish I die at the same time my husband dies. But I've seen it by experience that doesn't happen. Some people, they like to get more money, that when they pass away, then your children are able to buy another plot with that money next to your plot, or to pay for her final expenses, that you two can rest at the same place. By saying that, many people, they do choose higher number. And in case, once in a blue moon, someone says, oh, it's good, it can be talk about this. I said, of course, talk. And they say, no, not right now. I said, then when? In a couple of days. I said, why, you guys are shy? How long you been married? It's not the first night that you got married and you're shy with each other. And they say, oh, we've been married 30 years. Okay, now you have a right to talk to each other. Go ahead, talk. And if they say, no, later, we're going to talk in our private, I say, okay, let me make it easy for you. You want to talk to Elizabeth, right? Okay, Elizabeth, what do you think? Do you think you're going to die? Do you think you have to take care of this cost, that it doesn't be a burden on your children, or you want to leave it on your children? That's okay, too. That's okay, because I see every day people on the street that kids are collecting donation. Someone decided to leave it on them. For me, it doesn't matter. My job is not here to tell you what to do in your life. My job is here when you are not here. I'm here. And then I say, okay, which one? And then again, they put their number and number. That's my style for final expenses, especially for people they're older. I don't want they be without any protections after so many years. Even if they can get a term insurance, I tell them, you know what, I can give you something temporary. I can give you something permanent. Which one you like to get information about? Permanent means you're going to have it. It's like fixed rate on your house. And the other one is adjustable. Which one you like to get information about? Sometimes they choose permanent, 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 permanent. This is how I cover for final expenses, and just the point that if you give them more that they can buy their funeral expenses for a spouse at the same time, they love that idea. Because one thing they like about cemetery is they choose their plots not next to each other. And this is the way it can cover that problem. Because one of them is going to go first. Whoever dies first, there is enough money to buy the plot next to the other person, and maybe some money left that you can throw a bigger party with a belly dancer. Then I throw some jokes and some humor. And then they say, no, we just want something simple. When they say, no, we want something simple, they sold it to themselves. You are not selling. At that point, they sold it to themselves. But you can ask him more questions if you have that. Then I can share my experiences, why Mutual Omaha, why Living Promise. And e-app, I used to do paper because that's how I learned this business. And as you can see, I'm not from this country. When I told the client I'm not from this country, he said, no kidding. If you didn't tell me, I didn't know you are not from this country. And writing, for me, it was even difficult than e-app because with my writing, even underwriter used to ask and call and say, what is this? Then I asked Gina to write the applications. But Andrew asked me last year, he said, Sherry, if you want to make your life easier, do e-app. And I do respect his opinion highly, highly, not because he runs this system. I respect everybody's opinion. But I see when he guides me last 8 years and I follow it, at the end, I'm making more money and my job gets easier. I have tried his guidance for the last 7, 8 years. Every time he gave me a suggestion, and I do follow. I don't follow people. They don't work. They don't do their job. They're always complaining, but they are giving you suggestions. I don't follow those people's opinion. I follow their friendship. But whenever Andrew gave me a suggestion, and last year I broke that curse, and I do e-app. Not me, Gina does it, but I do it too. I know how to do it because I like to know whatever I do, I like to learn. Our business gotten so much easier with whole life. 80% of the time we get approval right there in their house, and that is great. No phone interview, not this, not that, not that. And the good thing about e-app is that you can have some conversation while you are typing, and if you make mistakes and you don't fill out a box, it's not going to let you go to next page. You're safe, no harm done. And sometimes I don't tell them right there they are approved. Depends. because I'm telling them, I want to try my best to get you some protections. That's why I say I would let you know in a couple of days, because I don't want they think it was that easy that I put it and they got approval. And most of the time, unless I'm very sure about the person who's anxious, wants to know with those medication he's going to get or she's going to get approved. Other than that, even though I get approval, I say, okay, great, it's submitted. As soon as I hear from insurance company, I let you know. And then a couple of days later, I call and I say, I have great news for you. Even if their voicemail comes, I sound so excited. John, I have great news for you. I was able to get qualification for this final expenses, and I know you are happy with me because I got you qualifications, and you are qualified as today. And that's it. If you have any question, call me. And they don't, because I cover everything. Even before I leave, I tell them, like, if they say, so are we just want to see if you are qualified for this? I said, what do you mean? And they said, so we're going to make decision after we see we are qualified. I said, no, you are making decision the day you die, money comes. That's the decision you are making. Because God forbid you pass away next week and you make different decision, no money is coming from nowhere. You have to pick up the phone, dig into some 401k, dig in to some credit cards, dig in to this account, or calling your children. No, we are trying to give you protections, but don't worry, they don't take money before qualification. After you get qualified, they're going to take the money from your account. I cover everything that doesn't leave any idea, oh, this is just a qualification process. I've done that in the past. And it was not the pretty pictures, because sometimes people, they call, oh, I thought this is just to see if I'm qualified. So if you are qualified, so what we are doing, we're just sitting here and seeing who's qualified, who's not, and we are celebrating, and that you don't want it. You have to cover every area, because that's the moment you are in their home. They open their door to you. They wouldn't open that door other than to people they love. Now they're trusting you with some information that they don't tell anything. That means you are in that time zone that you can say whatever and say the right things. And then you don't have any objections. But if it gets to the point that they throw objection, it's a good, I want to shop around, I want to think about it, I always say, oh, great, I would do the same. I don't blame you. I think my accent caused that I didn't do my job right. Let me start all over again. I missed something, because you told me, we all going to die. You told me you know that. And you told me you don't have any protections. You told me that. And you told me the day you pass away, your wife is going to be in charge with no money. You told me that. But I didn't explain it well. I'm going to start all over again. And they said, no. There is no need of yours, because they don't want you to go another 40 minutes for that. And then I said, so tell me then, what did I miss? Because if you walk to a cemetery, they're going to bring 3-4 very expensive plans. They're going to say, okay, this plan is going to cost you $12,000. This plan is going to cost you $15,000. This plan, $20,000. You're going to put 10% down payment, and you're going to pay $130 a month. What did I miss? because this is now $50 and you're not putting down payment. And once you qualify, you have it for life.
Wow. That's some fantastic stuff, Sherry. I tell you, it's always a learning experience to get some experiences from you. And I just love how you're able to take a hard conversation and, have it out. These are the hard questions. These are the conversations we need to have because, a lot of these people are seniors. They're 50, they're 60, they're 70, 80 years old. They're still procrastinating, and they're still filling out forms. And, not only do they need it, but, if you don't get it done now, they probably never will. So I just love how you're able to posture it and tie down every end from I'll think about it to, is this seeing we're getting approved, and you're really, really closed and airtight deal. So I want to thank you again for sharing with us today. It's always a pleasure and a learning experience. I feel like I'm a student of the game. We're excited to have Mutual of Omaha and all of our other top carriers, Americo and Transamerica, working with us. So feel free to contact us if you have any questions, and make it a great week. Thanks again, Sherry.
Thank you so much, Jack. You're an inspiration to all of us, too, because you are the product knowledge. Your brain has all. I learned a lot from you, too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. Have a good one.
Okay. You too. Bye.
Bye.